The greatest mistake you can make in life is to be continually fearing that you will make one. Elbert Hubbard. My friends, each and every day, 10 to 15 minutes practice trading. Don't be afraid to jump into these practice trades. The worst thing you can do is screw it up, and that's all right. You'll learn more from the screw-ups than you do when you do the wrong thing and it works, because sometimes it does. What we try to do, though, is follow the trend, look for turnarounds, and jump in and ride those trends up. What we've been working on so much lately are following the trends on the bigger charts, on the weekly chart. That's why we are using the volume, the Heiken Ashi candlesticks, and of course our trend lines. Let's jump into these charts, see where we are. Oh, by the way, Patreon members, something special for you today. I will be putting out another 3-wave trade symposium, we'll call it. It'll be a collection of what I call the charts that are going to be potentially ripe for some trading. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of them. We'll cover those after I finish today's show. I'm going to record that for you, and I will upload it at the Patreon site for your eyes only. If you are interested in becoming a Patreon member, supporting the work that we do here, go to the Patreon page and check us out. Sign up at any of the 3 levels. You will get all that we talk about. And of course, those weekly vertical crossovers, the charting cryptos and commodities, and all the special trainings, particularly those 3 trainings that we put out on Options Made Simple. If you want the best options training on the web, I think we have it. It's simple, it's easy to follow, it's easy to understand. It can get you practice trading options immediately. Let's jump into these charts. As we look at the first chart, we can see on the S&P 500, it was down for the day 1.53%. Now, this is interesting. The week is starting out. We can see a doji on the weekly chart. We had up movement starting on Thursday afternoon, Friday, Monday it started to die down on Tuesday. We can see that we had, a red down candle. Things slowed down. We're talking about what are we doing here? We have a 30-period exponential moving average. So again, on the weekly chart, that represents 30 weeks. We can see we have a doji now. Lots of indecision. Are we going to bounce off this or penetrate it? It's sort of looking like it's trying to bounce off, but it hasn't done it yet. Down for the day, 1.53%. Now, you can't tell that from the 2-day chart because it's recording what? It's recording what happened on Monday and Tuesday, the move up and the move down. The weekly is, of course, a collection of all 10 moves on the half day and 2.5 moves on the 2-day. Why? Because there are 10 half days in a week, and there are 2.5 2-days in a week. So we have a doji right here, right now. We have okay volume. It's showing green at this point simply because the doji itself is probably just barely green. We can see over the course of the day at the bottom where we had some indecision in the morning. Look at that high volume though. And then down in the afternoon with average volume, we can see when things were moving up to this most recent high on the half-day chart. Didn't have a lot of volume there. Maybe the market makers were trying to check out and see if they could scare some folks out of any kind of down move, and then it rolled back over. I don't know. I'm just looking that there's tons of indecision here on the weekly chart, and we will keep our powder dry and see which way this market is going to go. What about the NASDAQ 100? Again, not a doji. It does show a green up candle trying to form. And again, that's a Heiken Ashi candlestick. Again, average volume so far. I mean, we're only 2 days now in. It's about half of what last week's candle was. That looks all right. We look at where we are on the 2-day, just pushing through the trend line, that weekly trend line. It is above average volume, just barely above, but again, up with a wick on top. We can see, again, like the S&P, where things peaked on Monday morning and then are rolling over at this point with accelerating volume in the morning. So again, still some indecision there. Not as much as the S&P. Looks like we might be coming off this 30 exponential moving average on the NASDAQ 100 weekly chart. So we'll see as we move on. Don't have to make any decisions yet. We'll probably make those on Wednesday. That's tomorrow. Now, where are we on 20-year bonds? Well, 20-year bonds are, again, another doji we can encounter here. A very, very small movement on that weekly chart. Still barely in the red. And again, volume's okay so far. Average volume on the 2-day. We can see those 2 days of movement pushing right up on the trend line, the weekly trend line. We can see where prior movement hit it back on Monday morning, came off a little Monday afternoon, and then pushed through on Tuesday, up 0.61%. So we'll continue to watch and see what's going to happen on the latest 2-day. Still showing, a red down volume. So we'll keep our eye on things and see if we blow through and penetrate that weekly trend line, or if things die down and move below it. But with that decent volume there, I tend to think in that high volume in the morning and afternoon that it may very well keep going. We'll see what Wednesday brings. What do we see on gold? Well, gold is, again, still negative, down for the day, 1.75%. We were hopeful that gold was going to be heading up on us, but it's just really not doing that yet. And we just have, again, once it started to move over, heading down, it could be getting, again, a bit of a floor here on the 30 exponential moving average. We'll see if that indeed is what gold is doing. But again, down for the day, you can see where it pushed up through the trend line and then back over, accelerating volume in the morning, above average, just barely in the afternoon. And we can see, again, a doji pretty much on the 2-day and very close on that weekly chart. So lots of indecision, waiting for things to break. Now, lastly, we'll go to Bitcoin, down again today. We saw where last week was down, a spinning top. This week down more. Volume, not all that much. We can see on that prior 2-day that represented Thursday and Friday, above average volume, just below average volume on the current 2-day. And again, we can see where volume peaked up in the morning on the half-day chart, but looks like Bitcoin trying to roll over again. It could also be stuck. You see where this 30 period exponential moving average seems to be holding a lot of things now. So in many of these cases, what we are waiting to have happen is a penetration or a thorough bounce off of that 30 period exponential moving average. Tell us which way this range-bound market is going to go. That's where we are. We so appreciate you being with us as we continue to work our way through this week. We so appreciate you. We love to hear from you. CW@chartingwealth.com. Patreon members, thank you for all your support. About to get busy on that 3-wave time frame chart and those potential trades that are getting ripe. God bless, my friends.